My name is Sarah Richard, and this is my summary of learning. Formative versus summative assessment. Formative, it's usually good for feedback. The score should be used as feedback to give a guide for the rest of the lesson and the way it should be taught. If something needs to be retaught, you can go back and reteach it. Summative, it's usually the final grade about what the student has learned at the end of the whole unit. So, like at the end of the unit, if you've went over 5 different mini lessons in the unit, it's over the whole, all 5 mini lessons. Differentiated learning. I got this mostly from the book because I like the way it said it. Teachers can differentiate the following: content, assessment tools, performance tasks, and instructional strategies. I also like the chart on page 29 of our book. It has different tools and strategies that can be used in different ways that you can change it up, like the climate, making it safe and nurturing, knowing your learner, such as your multiple intelligence, assessing the learner, adjustable assessments, letting them use different things to learn, instructional strategies, curriculum approaches, different projects and problem-based things that they can use to help them learn better. I really like this because you really need to know your students and know how they learn and know how you want to teach them and what makes them interested in learning, and really be able to know your students in order to teach them. Multiple intelligence. This is another thing that I really did like. There's a lot of different tests you can give your students, like online. You can print off and let them take it, or they can take them online so you can find out what your students are. And I think that that's a great tool for teachers to have. You can use the results to make up their activities and help the teachers get to know the students and how they learn. There's different kinds like visual and spatial, logical, mathematical, verbal, and linguistic, musical, kinesthetic, interpersonal, social, interpersonal, introspective, and naturalist. And this again really helps the teacher get to know the students so they know what they're interested in, how they think, and better way for them to come up with activities and tests for the students. I really like the portfolio chapter. I didn't talk about all of them. I'm just going to talk about the ones that I really like that could really help me in my classroom. And I really like the writing and the best work unit and year long. I know recently I talked to the kindergarten teacher. I'm a first grade teacher, and my kindergarten teacher said that she was going to give the portfolios for me from the students from the year before. So that's really going to help me. And if I make some for my students, it'll really help the future teachers of that child do better, and also see where the students have gone, and help the parents as well see how much they learned throughout the year. And I really like the best work in unit. I think those are really good and fun for the kids because they can pick their best work and create a portfolio. And the unit is just fun because it's based all on one lesson. We also talked about lesson plans, and we did the pathwise lesson plan that has learning objectives, student grouping, methods, activities, materials, and evaluation. I think all these components make up a really good lesson plan. I think that's why our teacher chose it, because it's just is really good, and it has a place for you to put why you chose all these things, and why you chose your methods, why you chose your activities, and why you chose your materials, and how you use them. And I think that this is exactly what the thought process you need to have when you're making out your lesson plans. We also talked about Bloom's taxonomy, higher level thinking skills, and how students can work their way up to the creating, which is the highest level, by asking questions. These questions are great for making out tests or just asking questions around the class. But you just need to make sure that the questions aren't too hard, so that way slower students can be able to participate. The remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And you probably wouldn't want to do analyzing, evaluating, or creating if you're just asking questions, polling the class to see where they are. We also talked about Marzano's high yielding strategies, identifying similarities and differences, summarizing and note taking, reinforcing effort and providing recognition, homework and practice, cooperative learning, setting objectives and feedback, generating and testing hypotheses and questions, cues, and advanced organizers. All of these can be implemented into your lessons and helping the students throughout the year to help them have more practice and have more knowledge and better understanding of what you're teaching. And this is just a summary of my learning. I've learned so much from being in this class. I've learned more about lesson planning and what goes on to create them, about the questions I need to ask my students and what types. I will go into my first year having many valuable skills that will make it easy for the first year to teach.